So, Hopu Games has released the second Risk of Rain 2 DLC. I've been waiting for this for so long. Even though this DLC is full of bugs and other problems, I specifically have beef with one of the newest survivors, the Seeker. The Seeker is the worst survivor in Risk of Rain 2. Never ever in my 140 hours playing this game have I felt so bad playing a character. Now, I know what you might be thinking. Only 140 hours in a roguelite? Are you serious? This guy must suck. Well, to you, Mr. or Mrs. Anonymous Commentator, I say I do not care. I don't want to hear anything of that nature. No matter how much time I put into a character, it would still not change the fact that the Seeker sucks. And I am going to tell you exactly why. My first and probably biggest issue with the Seeker is the Seeker's damage just sucks. No matter how many runs I'd done, how many loops I'd performed, and how long I spent playing the Seeker, I never filled that power fantasy that I usually hope to get while playing Risk of Rain. So let's look into why that would be the case. Starting with the primary ability, Spirit Punch. Spirit Punch fires fists at enemies for 200% damage. Every third hit from Spirit Punch explodes and does 300% damage. Come on now, Hopu, 300% damage? Not only does this god-awful ability shoot out super freaking slowly, but 300% damage on a 3-hit passive is quite absurd. To put this into perspective, almost every other character in the entire game has a normal primary shot damage value of either over 300% or a bunch of smaller shots that are in the 100 percentile range, adding up to more than 300% value. I'm not sure why they made the attack speed on this so ridiculously slow if they were not only going to give the first 2 shots horrible damage, 200%, but the third shot, which gets even slower, only 300% damage. It's kind of stupid how they have it set up. Moving on to the secondary abilities, Unseen Hand and Soul Spiral. Now, both of these abilities aren't that bad, but I do have one large problem with them. Before we get into my problem, let me explain the abilities. Unseen Hand is basically a super awesome rocket punch uppercut that has very far range and decent damage. It also drains and slows every enemy hit, all while healing you based on how many enemies you attack. The other ability, Soul Spiral, basically turns you into a cracked out Zenyatta. You create a bunch of balls that spiral around you, shield you on hit, and do a very decent amount of damage all at the same time. The big problem with these two abilities is not the damage itself, but the ability to damage enemies in the sky. Due to the abysmal damage of the normal attacks, the deeper you get into runs, the more and more useless the primary fire feels to use, leaving you to mostly use your secondary and utility skills to do all of your damage. One of which isn't even consistent. While Unseen Hand does have a pretty good aerial attack in theory, in practice it feels pretty rough to use when you have to aim at something that's right in front of you and you can't look up to aim at it. Next, Soul Spiral makes it almost impossible to hit things in the air constantly unless you're literally immortal while using the utility skill, or you're gonna go at, jumping and getting up there. Unseen Hand sucks because you are either left having to be Sogeking, the sniping god himself, or the luckiest guy alive. Soul Spiral sucks because you must put yourself in high danger situations just to kill the things in the sky. Now moving on to probably my favorite and least favorite ability, Sojourn. What Sojourn does is it allows you to transform into a ball of fire and fly around, basically as long as you have HP. When ending the flight, you stun and do a medium-sized explosion to things around you. During this ability, you do lose 20% of your health every second while flying in exchange for an increased damage on the explosion. On paper, I think this ability is probably one of the coolest ones that the Seeker has. In practice though, it's an okay ability to use. The 20% damage to health per second sucks, and the damage increase is not even noticeable in the later stages of the game. I had a run where I was basically flying around and I had an immortality type of thing with it. And even then, after being in an immortal state with the flame for more than 30 seconds, the damage on it, the explosion was still not even good. So as an ability, it does feel pretty decent when paired with everything else, but it's kind of just mediocre. No big complaints for me, but it's pretty cool, I guess. Finally, the last parts of the Seeker I want to talk about is the passive and the special. I'll be talking about both of these at the same time because they work hand in hand together. Starting off with the special, Meditate. This ability is pretty cool to use because it basically brings Friday Night Funkin' to Risk of Rain 2. Meditate essentially stops you in one position as you play a minigame, does one big blast around you, heals you and your allies, revives the people that you're playing with, and it gives you a stack of your passive. Now, to be honest, if the passive didn't exist, the ability seems kind of useless to me, unless you're playing with the homies. The damage from it is kind of mediocre for something that locks you in place and has you play a minigame every single use. The heal can be pretty great, but at the same time, just work towards getting items like Medkit. Moving on to the passive Tranquility, not only is this passive stupid, it's also pretty useless. Essentially, every single time that you get your Meditate stacks off or you complete like a Meditate round successfully, you will gain a stack of Tranquility stacking up to 6 points. Now, get this. Each of the points gives you a 1% all stat boost. Now, maybe I'm a little bit ungrateful, but come on now, 1%? It's barely noticeable in game, and I almost find no big motivation to gain stacks other than, oh, it's here, I can do this in my spare time or in my downtime. The only time I really find myself needing to use the special is if I don't have the proper items to heal myself with, or I can't properly land my other abilities. Now, to be honest, maybe I'm being a little bit harsh on the Seeker, calling it the worst character in the game, but this video was originally going to be me beating the new boss. Only problem is, I suck. So I've decided to talk about this awful character, and for some odd reason, despite all my problems with the character and me not even being able to win a singular run, I still love playing the Seeker. I'll probably keep using them for a long time too. Would I like a slight buff to him? Yeah, of course. At least to the normal attacks. That 3-hit passive is quite atrocious. I want that thing to pop like, I don't know, any League of Legends 3-hit passive. But overall, I feel like there can be some super cool builds, and when I'm playing with the homies, it's almost like a no-brainer for me to play them due to their supportive capabilities. Hey, so end of my poorly put together script, and I just realized that I never introduced myself. So first things first, hey, my name is Saydog, or Say, or Simon, or whatever the hell you want to call me. No, I don't only play Risk of Rain 2. I do love the game, but I just play all different kinds of garbage. I stressed out for probably like 2 weeks just thinking of, oh, what should I do for this video? Oh, this, that. Because I've given this content creation thing another shot. But, you know, here we are, right? My true passion in terms of everything, I want to stream, if anything. I'm not sure when I'll start back up again, but if you did enjoy this video, help me out, hit that like and subscribe button. And if you want to see me play random crap live, head over to my Twitch at twitch.tv/SaydogL and send me a follow over there too. Thank you guys so much for watching. And if you made it this far in the video, say Roxy in the comment section or something like that, because that's best girl. Thank you guys so much for watching. Peace.